what I need to do now is just fit all of the air pipes and wheel arches. First, let's clean this dirty wheel arch. So this one is in. Now we can just put the wheel back on. When we are at it, we will also change the valve cover gasket because it's leaking in some places, and we will also change the power steering fluid. It's very difficult to undo it when you have a strut bar in here, so I just 2 13mm bolts. And what we will do is, I have this small device, so this is like a suction pump, so I'll just take out as much fluid as I can from the reservoir, and then I will fill the reservoir full with new fluid. What we will do is we will go underneath here, and those are actually the lines for power steering, because this is in here, this spiral thing, it's the power steering fluid cooler. So I'll just take one of these clamps, remove the rubber hose, and we'll drain some of the fluid, then fill the fluid back in the reservoir, and just repeat the process until we get quite clean fluid through here. Full to the limit, and now we'll drain it at the bottom. All done. As you can see, we have maximum level. The fluid looks nice and clean. I know the tray is red and might make the color a little bit darker, but still, das ist nicht good.
Yeah, that's pretty true. That's true, and yeah, that's true.
This will be fun to get back on. I'm sure of that. So now, there's another one here at the bottom. I think this one. For some reason, the one at the bottom is T30. In order to do it, I need to unplug the injector, this one. So I need to undo the battery first. The rubber is absolute metal. Let's take the look at the 340, almost 350,000 engine. I would say it's really clean. It has like some kind of not marks, but like discoloration, I would say. Yeah, but otherwise I think it's really nice. Now I need to clean the surface because some cats didn't want to put the new gasket, so they just used the old one and put silicone around it.
That just makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, so this is the dreadful PCV valve hose. It's very difficult to fit in because, as you can see, it goes underneath the intake manifold and then it goes through here and down there, so it's quite limited space in here for just refitting it, but yeah, somehow I managed that and all is back together. Yeah, my camera died, so I didn't record the whole process. I only noticed after I finished that. Actually now, because I've been editing the video recently, I only noticed it now that I didn't record the last part. Yeah, I did around 8,000 kilometers with that new gasket on. As you can see, it's all clean. You can see a little bit of dirt in here, but it's because of the PCV valve hose. This one, I will need to replace it, but it's quite difficult to get one because, as you can see, here it's thinner and here it's thicker. So I don't know, I can't find any hose like that, so I will need to maybe buy a thicker one and then do like a reduction somewhere into the thinner one. I don't know, but otherwise it's all clean around here. At the back you can't probably see much, but it's clean, it's not leaking. Also, when I'm here, guys, I'm gonna give you the update on the brakes situation, because you know that before we went to the Nurburgring we were changing the brake discs and pads, and I went with the new brand called Rottinger when it comes to brake discs. For now, I'm really happy with them. Most importantly, they survived the 12 laps, so the brakes were really getting really hot, even though that the car is not powerful, right? But a couple of brakings from, like, I don't know, Schwedenkreuz to Arenberg, and then after the Vauxhall into the Adeno Forst. So yeah, so the brakes were getting hot. You didn't feel it on the brake pedal that it was, like, you know, getting soft, because the Fiorado pads give you that stiffness, let's say, so you do not, I didn't have any issues with that. But yeah, they survived, they didn't bend, they didn't overheat, so yeah, that's a W for those brake discs. Yeah, so as I said, the car performed well. The temperatures of the coolant got a little bit hotter, to around 95, 96 degrees. Of course, bear in mind that the temperature outside on the racetrack was like, yeah, I think it was around 30 degrees, 30 something, so yeah, it was hot. But my brother has a 150 1.9 GT, and he didn't have any issues. The temperatures for the coolant stayed around 90 Celsius, right? So I think, this is just my theory, let me know in the comments if you agree, if you had issues like that, because, you know, I looked around the engine, let's say, in the cooling area and all of the cooling lines and around the block. There are no blockages, there is nothing on the canals that would make the coolant flow less efficient, let's say. Radiator is new, pump is new, the thermostat is new, so all of the elements which are quite important on the cooling system are new, they are working, so this is not the cause. But what I actually think is the cause is the oil cooler, or lack of it, let's say. I will just get you down there, guys. The element that I am flashing light at is actually the oil cooler in this car, let's say. So this is not even an oil cooler, like a proper oil cooler. This is just a heat exchanger, I think. It's right next to the oil filter, and I think that's the problem, because since this car doesn't have a good oil cooling system, the oil gets quite hot, then it transfers the heat onto the engine in general, and then the coolant works. This is how the coolant works, right? It takes away the temperature from the block. So that's why I think the coolant gets hot. And hear me out till the end. I think this happens, this is the cause in this car, because in my brother's 150 horsepower 1.9 16 valve, there is no issue like that. But this car, my brother's car, has the external oil cooler. It's like a proper oil cooler which sits around in here, over there somewhere, right? I think that's the issue, that they are able to cool the oil much more, therefore the oil is not transferring the excessive amounts of temperature onto the block. So yeah, so I might be doing something about that. I might be thinking about installing an external oil cooler to this car. Basically what I think I will do is just take oil cooler that was installed on 150 horsepower engines, I will take the lines, and I will also buy a smaller filter, right? Because line oil filter for 115 horsepower is like a longer one, and for 150 horsepower is like a shorter one. I think this is to compensate the oil pressure that needs to be built up in the system, because you have additional like elements which yeah, makes you have a lot more oil in the system, right? Because when we were doing something on my brother's GT and we were taking out the oil cooler, it's around a liter of oil inside of it, right? So you have 4.2 in the engine and 1 liter in the oil cooler, something in the line, something in the filter, so you have around 5.5 liters of oil in 150 horsepower engine. Here in mine is just 4.2. There's no external oil cooler, so I think I will be working on that, and I will see how much work does it require to do that, and we will see. We'll see if my theory is correct. Maybe I'm mistaken. Just let me know. Maybe you had some experiences with that. Just let me know. I'm just curious. I think that would make sense. Okay guys, so that would be it from the theoretical part of today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you being here, just watching, and I hope enjoying those videos. As I've said, if you enjoyed, please like, share and subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.